Hello, everyone. This is Pam Hempel. I wrote a letter to Congress, and we'll be sending these out. But who knows if the Congress will ever get a chance to read it or invite me there to read it. That would be great, but I have to turn that over to my higher power. If it's meant to be, it'll happen. But I thought, why not read it to you and get your opinion, what you think? It's part of my amends. I start off with a quote. The ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all. John F. Kennedy. My name is Pam Hempel, and I'm a cancer survivor and a retired substance abuse counselor. I owned and operated a state-approved DUI treatment center, and I'm a recovering alcoholic with over 45 years of sobriety. I was in the crowd at the Capitol on January 6, 2021. I would appreciate my story being entered into the record in an attempt to right the wrongs I have done and to hopefully provide the American people with facts that sadly too many of us did not know when we arrived in the morning of January the 6th. I was charged for my participation in the events that day. I pleaded guilty and I served 60 days in prison. I am not a victim of the government, and the Justice Department was not weaponized against me. I was a participant who broke the law. I would like to do my part to contribute to the collective healing that our nation needs after the events of January the 6th, as well as address the constant gaslighting perpetrated by those who refuse to accept accountability for their part in what happened that day and that continues to go on across America to this day. As I mentioned, I'm a substance abuse counselor. For over 28 years, I provided counseling and support to those struggling with addiction. As a person in recovery myself, my program involves making direct amends, which means more than just words and simple apologies. It takes action that demonstrates a new way of life. It requires acknowledging and aligning our values to our actions by admitting wrongdoing and then living by those principles. Speaking out with the facts has come at a big risk to my personal safety and well-being. But I believe that not speaking about what I learned will only serve those who continue to gaslight and lie in order to protect their own interests. I also want others who feel betrayed or misled to know that you are not alone. We have an opportunity to accomplish what we thought we came to the Capitol for on January 6th by admitting our wrongs and sharing the facts. After I retired, it became a hobby of videotaping and documenting political events for local women's mega group. When I attended these rallies, I felt welcomed. I felt like I was part of a group of people who truly cared about the country and the Constitution. Looking back, I realized much of what I was being told was only propaganda, lies. Things like the Democrats are trying to turn this into a communist country, or the left want to do away with the Constitution and any belief in God. That gaslighting caused a lot of fear, and that fear kept me engaged because I believed we were saving the country and protecting the Constitution. I was deceived. On January 6th, the betrayal of my trust and loyalty to the movement was not yet realized. It wasn't until much later that I would understand that these people, who I believed were patriots, had been using my fear. The desire to be a patriot American was weaponized against the Capitol, the rule of law, and the peaceful transition of power The events on January 6th did not match the ideas I believed that I was supporting. I feel ashamed that I couldn't see it at that moment. Part of my motivation to write this letter is to set the record straight about the events leading up to January 6th and the false narratives that have been pushed by others who attended or who facilitated its insurrection. Mainly, I want to thank the Capitol Police officers for their heroic and patriotic efforts that day. You are my hero. You see, I was 67 years old at that time. I'm 71 now. And I had gone through cancer surgery for a few weeks before January 6th. In the crowd, I was pushed down, my head was trampled on, my shoulder muscle was pulled out, my knee cut, my glasses were smashed, and I could not breathe. The Capitol Police saved my life that day. And I want them to know how truly grateful I am to them. And how deeply sorry I am for what happened and for how you are continually being disrespected by most J6ers to this day. The Capitol Police were not causing the violence, and I have a video on my side of the Capitol that shows that. They did not start the violence. They protected the Capitol, the people inside the Capitol, and even the rioters, like myself, from the violence that day. They deserve our gratitude and acknowledgement for their sacrifice and the continued scars that they carry to this day. Aside from the events at the Capitol on January 6th, the danger to this country still exists. The constant gaslighting, the propaganda that continues to fan the flames of grievance, hate, and anger towards our own fellow Americans, Democrats, President Biden, the federal government. It all must stop. If we are to be true patriots who love this country, we must stand up and speak out with the facts of what really happened on January 6th. This includes all elected officials who claim to demand facts and evidence, but refuse to operate in the same fact-based reality. I'm hoping this letter can serve as a part of my amends to our nation. I believe there are other J6ers, I hope, like me, out there who will see that the gaslighting and the lying is hurting this country. I hope they join me in pushing back against the lies. We need more truth tellers, fact finders, and courageous leaders who are willing to admit when they are wrong and speak up for the truth. I have learned so much in my journey since January 6th, and I continue to learn. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share this letter with you, and I want all my fellow Americans to know that I regret ever being there that day. I ask that everyone work together. Let's work together to build a perfect union. But let us build it on a foundation of facts. If we do this, we can all help heal this country. Lastly, I would like to add, let's stop the spin. Let's stop the hate. Let's come together. Let's get honest. I love this country and I love you. And we all make the wrong choices in times in our life. Don't make another one. Get honest. Love you all.